Okay, let's start. I hope you see me and hear me. Welcome, everybody. For those who are not a part of our project, my name is Sasha Zavratnik. I am representative of project partner called E-Institute or E-Zavod from Slovenia, and I will moderate this insightful discussion today, which is basically a networking opportunity with like-minded individuals passionate about sustainability in the first place and repair, of course. Speakers that we chose will help us upscale the capacity of us local repair hubs that we establish in different countries. Slovenia, we have Albania. We also have Bosnia and Herzegovina. We have France, Greece, Italy, Portugal, and Spain. This is already a third peer-to-peer webinar we have organized as a part of the repair project activities, and this project is supported by Interreg Euromed program. So the repair project actually unites three organizations: Altro Consumo from Italy, Deco Protesta from Portugal, and OCU from Spain. Those are three leading consumer organizations that are dedicated to informing and empowering consumers, of course, about their rights, our rights, the quality of products we purchase, and the impact of our consumption on the environment and our societies. So today's debate brings together experts from various organizations across Mediterranean. And we have for the first speaker, Danilo Boni, Head of Repair and Reuse in Zero Waste Italy. And I kindly invite you to join us and make a presentation for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Sasha. I hope that you can hear me well. Now yes. I share my screen. Can you see it?
Not yet.
Check.
No, not yet.
Okay.
Yes. Now, so yes, we now see the whole screen and the PowerPoint or PDF. Yes.
Let me do it.
If possible, yes, for the presentation mode. Great, excellent. Thank you.
Okay. So thanks for all for inviting me. I will speak about what is our experience in Zero Waste Italy about this topic. I started to speak about the zero waste, the waste hierarchy. That is a framework that prioritizes waste management strategies, placing prevention at the top and disposal at the bottom, of course. Encouraging reducing waste generation, reusing materials, recycling, and so on. So prevention and reuse are the top choice. In Zero Waste Italy was established in 2009. The primary task is connecting the Italian Zero Waste initiatives with European and global networks, and is a member of Zero Waste Europe Foundation, and collaborates with Gaia, Global Alliance for Incinerator Alternatives, and SVIA, Zero Waste International Alliance. One of the main part of our strategy is the Zero Waste strategy, 10 steps of Zero Waste strategy. And in particular for today, I would highlight the fifth and the ninth step. So the fifth is reuse, repairs, and the construction, and the better industrial design, the ninth. Which the mission in Zero Waste Italy is the best waste is the one that is not produced, that repairing and reuse object that might otherwise be discarded, all significant important across environmental, economic, and social dimension, and if it's possible, try to prioritize the repair and reuse of objects. That is important for a more sustainable, resilient, and equitable future. We created a map a few years ago in order to make a picture, and is a work in progress, still working every day, what is existing in our country about the reuse centers, company that are doing repairs and that are doing upcycling projects. We decided to create as well eralaterza.it, that is a website where there is the map, but as well to do networking, to be a point of reference in the sector, and acting as a stimulus to give birth to new realities. 2 years ago, we created as well a petition on change.org in order to sensibilize the institution competent to make a law and to create a Italian law in order to help incentive for reuse and repairs. At the moment, we are at 30,380 signatures. So if you are agree, and if you didn't sign yet, please do it and share it. It could be helpful. Now let's start to speak about the right to repair new legislation. As you know, in 2024 there was this new directive. Right to Repair Europe coalition represents more than 130 organizations, and we are also a member of it, and celebrates the European consumers will have a better access to affordable repairs for selected products, but calls for broader rules. European Commission want to introduce a European online platform and encourage member states to introduce repair funds and vouchers, which have proven to be effective as a viable strategy to improve the affordability of repairs. As I said, in May 2024, we joined Right to Repair to network, to involve more and more companies, among those that carry out repairs in the different sectors, without forgetting the sector of no-profit companies, social cooperatives that operates in this area, and to raise awareness of the opportunity of the bonus for repairs. Let's see some, now let's start to see some best practices about the bonus for repairs in Europe. While you set the stage, some member states and regions are already taking concrete actions. We have carried out an in-depth study on the foreign experiences. From November 2024 to today, we have met the main actors involved in recent years in various campaigns for the promotion of the right to repair in France, Austria, and Germany. And also at European level in Brussels, which have led to the issuing of regulation on the right to repair and offer valuable insights. Let's see some benefit from a strong right to repair framework. There is a shift from the focus from a linear take, make, dispose model to a more sustainable and consumer-friendly approach that benefit individuals, the economy, and the planet, the circular economy. And it empowers consumers, supports independent businesses, and fosters a more responsible relationship with the products we own. The experience of a bonus repair program has boosted the repair sector, with some businesses reporting a doubling of sales, highlighting the economic benefits. Let's see some parts, important parts of the directive or the experiences. The funding mechanism in France, the producers fund have gone by the APR schemes, 63 million for 2022-23. In Austria, the government fund, including EU support, the Recovery and Resilience Plan for 130 million from 2022, and plus 50 more millions from government for 2024 and 2025. In Thuringia, the region in Germany, the regional government budget 500,000 euro in 2021, 80,075 euro in 2022, 1 million 2023 and 2 million 2024. How the bonus is given in France directly to the repairer, reducing the customer's bill. In Austria, reimbursed to the customer after the payment. In Germany, as well as reimbursement for 50% of the total repair, but a maximum of 100 euro per person per year, with the exception of Berlin and Saxony, up to 200 euro per person per year. Let's see the eligible products in each country. In France, France has a very broad scope, including electronics, and now in the last 2 years, the last year was extended to clothing and shows as well. In Austria, is expanding its scope over time, but is more for everything with a plug, every product with a plug. And in Thuringia is mainly focused for electronics, but not only. Here I can show you about the electrical and electronic products in France. You can see in the first column bonus in 2023 when they started, and then in 2024 how they rise the amount of the bonus because they saw that was more attractive for the people, for the consumers. Here, as I said, in Austria, anything with a plug, so there is a list of the products included, and for Thuringia. Is very important as well the accessibility for repairers, so the accreditation procedure. In France, they created a label, Quali Repar, with a certification process. In Austria, you need only a license, a business license to include it, and in Thuringia is even more inclusive, including a repair cafe as well in this project. I included as well the fraud issue in Austria and how they solve this problem. That is important to take in mind. And is very important the communication campaign. In particular, is important to see how Austrian and French examples they did it. Here I can show you some example of what are the campaign in France about the promotion of the bonus. It's important as well to emphasize the need to collect data in order to track the program for the impact that they have at the environmental, economic, and social aspect. Let's see some number about the bonus. So in Austria, the repair bonus has led to a significant reduction in electronic waste, over 2,600 tons avoided, demonstrating the environmental impact of such programs. Over 840,000 repair vouchers were paid out from April 2022 to January 2024. In France, over 165,000 repairs were carried out under the repair bonus program for electrical and electronic products during the first year, and more than 4,700 businesses were accredited. In Thuringia, in the state of Thuringia, in Germany, subsidies were given to approximately 33,000 repairs in 2021-2024, whereby a CO2 saving of almost 3,000 tons was achieved, and almost 4,000 tons of electronic waste was prevented. So, as you see, from the experience of these three countries, funding models needs to be sustainable and reliable. We need a clear eligibility criteria and efficient bonus delivery mechanism, as well the accreditation, the repairer accreditation is essential in order to not create some barriers for to participate. Are important as well the measures to prevent fraud, and investing in public awareness campaign is not an option, but is essential to drive consumer engagement and maximizing impact. Is very important as well the data collection and monitoring in order to evaluate the program effectiveness and make informed adjustments. Some conclusion and recommendation for Italy. So, because in Zero Waste Italy, we work mainly, particularly in Italy. So we need a stable funding source, potentially involving the WE CDC consortium, a streamlined accreditation process for repairers, an adequate bonus amount to incentivize consumers, fraud prevention measures, a comprehensive communication strategy, systematic monitoring and evaluation, a multi-stakeholder platform for ongoing collaboration, investing in repair training, of course, and what is Tavolo Riparazione Riuso is a player, I would say, that is we are creating together with other association, companies, and actors existing in Italy that are interested about these topics. So after the study that we did on foreign experiences, we are creating a manifesto for the new law on repair and reuse, and we will do a campaign. Sorry for the mistake, for the preparation of the law, Italian law, with the introduction of a bonus for repairs and incentives for reuse. After the manifesto, we are at the same time on the manifesto we are creating a regional coordination for repairs and reuse, particularly in Tuscany and in Lombardy. We are trying to launch some local projects to encourage repairs and reuse, and we are trying to propose work with the chamber of environmental chamber of Camera dei Deputati for an introduction of a bonus or incentives for repair and reuse in Italy. So the experience that we saw gave us the proof that is possible, and but only together we can do it. Thank you for your attention, and if you have any questions, please feel free to send me.
Thank you, Danilo. If anybody has a question, please speak. Yes, Amaya, of course.
Yes. Thank you, Danilo. My question is, you present that there are several ways to deliver the bonus to consumers, okay, in France, in Thuringia, etc. And I would like to ask you if any of them has been proven to be better than others, from the point of view of consumers. I mean, in my opinion, probably the French one is the most comfortable because you go to the shop and you don't have to do anything else. But I would like to know your opinion about this. Thank you.
Yes, I would say that, of course, in France with APR is something that is going to be, I would say, easier, but at the same time is more stable, because the problem that we saw, speaking with the actors that are leading these projects in Austria and Germany, is that the founding is fundamental, and Austria did it thanks to the EU generation funds mainly, and then the government put 50 million more, and Germany started from like us, like Zero Waste Italy, like some association from the below. They started with a campaign, started to speak with the government, thanks maybe to the experience of Austria experience, but it's very slow. Of course, you can check and monitorize better when you start in this way. And particularly in France, they got 63 million, and in the first year, or maybe almost the first year, they couldn't use this money because they didn't organize everything in the proper way, but now is very effective because they enlarge the eligible products to the textile and the shoes sector as well. So in my opinion, there is not the best option, but of course, if you can include the PR scheme, is very important, because you change a bit the idea that till now in Europe, but in particular I speak about Italy, recycle was very important, but we understood that is not enough, and so we need to push towards reuse and these repairs, these kind of actions. And so maybe APR schemes should be used to speak and do more in these topics. I hope that is clear, the idea or the analysis.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? No, it's okay. If you will have questions later on, you can please write it in the chat or maybe on email. It doesn't matter. I think that our speakers will be free to answer also later. I would just like to comment here, because I was thinking about our project, that we, at the end of the project, of course, when the majority of the activities will be done, and that after we will learn some new things, we will also study the possibility of replicating similar initiatives on the south of the Mediterranean, because this project is, of course, active in the place of area of the Mediterranean. But however, you presented Austria, and we also talked about Austria as a good practice and what they do beforehand. And I think it's also important to understand the background. Like, is it possible to really copy what they do also in our countries, of course, but also lower in the south? So it will be nice to compare if something is functioning in one country, can also be very okay and pleasable, of course, in another country. So this is something that we will have to think about really in the details when we will discuss the possibilities for all the countries. So this is just a comment for us as a repair partners. And thank you again, Danilo. Okay, I think we can continue now. Of course, we are talking about empowering consumers, when to repair or replace, and how are we on the right path right now? Where are we? How we're standing with that? So we will now continue again with Italy. We will have Silvia and Michelle from Ars Ambiente. Please correct me if my pronunciation is not okay. I think we can also share the presentation. And yes, are you with us?
Yeah, thank you, Sasha. Indeed, my name is Michele. It's Michael.
Michele, yes, of course, sorry.
But no problem.
Yes, sorry.
You're mostly welcome, and thanks for inviting us. I was in touch, indeed, with the Interreg Euromed project. I was in a meeting in Sarajevo last April, so there I met Julia that said, well, that would be amazing if you could join our talks and explain a little bit of your case studies. So thank you for that. Silvia is here also as well, and she is really focusing on waste prevention. So we cooperate together. Let me share my screen. Yeah, this is our presentation, and let me put it full screen, if I may. Yeah. So really our company, well, the presentation is Nudge for Reuse. Why nudging? When I was speaking in Sarajevo, I delivered a speech about nudging because, this is really all about changing behavior of citizens in order to encourage them to participate either in separate collection or waste prevention. And waste prevention is definitely more difficult than doing separate collection. You have to really change your mind. You have to think about, well, this is an old item, an old good. Should I transform this into a waste or not? But first and foremost, let's explain a little bit who we are. So we are a waste management consultancy dealing with separate collection, mostly in Italy, but also with some international projects. And we have a lot of customers ranging from municipalities. Typically, we are doing plannings, so regional plannings or municipal planning, financial planning for the introduction of new collection schemes like pay as you throw and whatever. And luckily, in Italy, we have a lot of good practices and even best practices Europe-wide and also worldwide. Me personally, I deal with bio-waste. Actually, I deal with organic waste. So Silvia is more focused on waste prevention. But as I said before, waste prevention is more difficult because, by definition, by law, an item becomes a waste when you decide that it's a waste. So it's your decision turning this item from something that you bought before in the supermarket or whatever into something that is legally a waste. You know the definition, no? It's quite famous. This the holder wants to discard, intends to discard, or is required to discard. So from that point, it becomes a waste. From that very decision of yourself. And so we are dealing with the first part, which is the most important part for sure. It's waste prevention. From that point on, it becomes a waste. And it's important to highlight this difference between a good and a waste, because at this stage, when, you decided that it may be becoming a waste, but there is still a step which is intermediate between your generation of this waste and the final recovery, which is the preparation for reuse. And keep in mind that this is very important because this accounts for the calculation of recycling rate at European level. By now, there is barely no member states really calculating in a proper way how much waste is prepared for reuse. But by law, again, we should account for this because it's part of the recycling target set by Article 11 of the European Waste Framework Directive. But let's go without any further ado to some case studies from Italy. We are calling them Centri di Riutilizzo, and the presentation from Danilo formerly described those very well. I will just focus on a couple of peculiar things. This is a reuse center in Italy with all the items, well organized and exposed, like a kind of a shop. Items are typically in these reuse centers received, tracked, weighted, and the weighing thing is important because of what I told you before. The calculation of the reuse and recycle, the preparation for reuse. Well, actually, a reuse center is a center in which items are still not a waste. Okay, so sorry for the confusion. Reuse is for items not that haven't still become a waste. The preparation for reuse is for waste that could be repaired in order to avoid becoming undergoing the further processing and recycling operation. So this reuse center, anyway, they have a kind of registration system. Items are then exposed, waiting for people who want to collect them. Sometimes they are managed by volunteer association or directly by the waste management company. And of course, management costs are very different for the municipalities. So some tricky things here, for instance, do we want to allow for all the citizens of that municipality hosting the reuse center to deliver their items, or maybe from the whole province or a wider area? This makes quite a difference. And do we want to allow many citizens willing to get the items, so visiting the center and bring back some items? In some cases, this is possible. They decided, for instance, in Busto Arsizio in the province of Varese, northern Italy, Lombardy, that only the people living in that city can deliver items, but everyone from the province, the region, whatever, can go there and pick up any item they like. In this case, there is a kind also of economic feature to be assessed, because, this is again the case of Busto Arsizio. Delivery of goods are evaluated by the manager of the reuse center and classified typically into, for instance, 3 ranges: cheap, medium, or expensive. So if you bring them some coffee cups, they will tell you, okay, this is a medium price range. So it will be around €5 or €10. You cannot argue, because for you it's just a donation, but this will be the final price, which is listed in this QR code. There is a website, so anyone can look at the website even from far away, from abroad, and go there, and they will find the price, which will finance the operational costs of the reuse center, the software, the database, and whatever. But then there is another trick. When there are too many goods, what to do? They are donated. So there is a kind of agreement with volunteer associations being present in the city. And this is a kind of different modus being in place in Lombardy. Either it will be a convention, an agreement between the municipality and the associations, in which they directly recruit volunteers, they schedule their presence, they are covered by an insurance, and so on. Or it can be a more, let's say, valuable money-speaking agreement in which the waste collection company directly manages the reuse center, and there is an agreement with the association in order for them to collect goods that are not delivered to anyone after 1 or 2 months at a discounted price, 40%, for instance, of the initial value. But then what happens is that sometimes with this agreement in place, then the very operators of these NGOs, which could come after 2 months to pick up at a discounted price, they go directly at the beginning as a private citizen to collect the most valuable goods and items. So just to say that, yeah, the management of the storage is really important for the good management of the reuse center. Sometimes another model is for the waste collection company to bring all these reusable goods after a period, for instance, to a kind of reuse container like this one. These are two examples. They are movable large containers, the island of the reuse, in which they can do a kind of more decentralized approach to be put in place in order for citizens to participate more. Okay, so just a couple of points about how the governance approach was in place. In Lombardy, a specific tender was set up using the money from the landfill tax, theoretically. It's worthwhile mentioning it because the landfill tax has to be returned to municipalities in order to encourage good projects in waste management, environmentally sound projects. So yeah, many tenders up to now. About 60 reuse centers have been financed, and we have some calculations saying that the best practices are about 3-4 kilos per capita a year of waste prevention monitored, which is not a lot. I would say no. Municipal solid waste is around 400 kilos per capita in a year, so a reduction of 4 is 1%. But if you calculate this on the number of people participating, going to the reuse center, this is really a significant amount. Another region was region Marche with 32 centers of reuse center financed. The total amount financed was even higher, 6 million for 32. So they put in place a more network way of setting up these reuse centers. And also, interestingly enough, the Region Marche participated to a Life Plus project in which they did a psychological study on the barriers to reuse, which is quite interesting because they discovered 3 main barriers. First of all, the lack of information on how to donate and collect. Then a second quite interesting thing is no warranty on used goods. And then lack of information on where and how to repair damaged goods. And this very last bullet point is interesting because people also want to, as you know, in your project, want to repair, but they don't know how. So there comes into place the repair cafe, you know it very well. Again, one tricky thing about repair cafes, some interesting models like this one in Piemonte, in the Consorzio Chiarese, they hire volunteers to help repairing and also to order repair spare parts. So, for instance, a user can go there and say, well, you are missing this spare part. We are taking care of ordering it. You wait a couple of weeks, you go home with your goods, your item, and you come back here when we have the sales of the spare part, maybe in a dedicated session in which a technician, a volunteer technician, can help you repair it. So again, a tricky add-on to the common scheme of the repair cafe. And finally, one last example for Italy, the cooperative Insieme Vicenza, people in Veneto, 110,000 people. They set up a center licensed for preparation for reuse. So actually they are really receiving waste, 1,000 tons per year, which is fairly high amount because you calculate it's about 10 kilos per capita a year. And all of them are prepared for reuse. So they hire social inclusion people. And as you can see in this motto, in this summary, they have cooperative shops in which they sell. rarely they have donations, but they say in our stores on a Saturday, 1,000 customers enter. And to achieve this result, we must start from the fact that our supply chain is industrial, but also cultural. So we come back from the first slide, nudging and behavioral change is the key to make all of this thing work. Thank you by now. And if you have any questions, me and Silvia are here available for discussion. Thank you.
Hi, Michele.
Hi, Joanna.
Thank you for your presentation. Could you please share with us a couple of links with the centers you just presented to us?
Well, definitely.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we can collect a couple of information and circulate this via email to Sasha and the others, so you can get all this information. Maybe some of it will be in Italian, but it will be easily translatable. Okay.
Thank you, Michael. We also have another question or a comment from Eleni. Yeah. As you see in the chat.
In the chat, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so if there isn't a network of different affordable and credible craftsmen close to people's residence, how you could pursue them to repair them? This is the biggest problem they have, the creation of such network, the credibility, safety, hygiene of repair products. So a network, and also that the products are on the level of comparison with new items, or at least they have to be safe, right? So can you comment on that?
Yeah, indeed, this is one of the most important problems, to find skilled people, and as the comment correctly says, close to your repair cafe location. But I would say that, yeah, in some places these have been overcome, this problem has been overcome by paying them. By setting a kind of budget in order for them to participate as professionals and not just volunteers, because sometimes, repairing a smartphone or electronic equipment is not so easy. But then one thing that work is to create some kind of thematic events. I was discussing this with Julia also. Thematic events in which you focus on just smartphones, maybe 1 month, every 3 months, and then you can invite a professional dedicated to smartphones, or maybe a nerd, a young guys dealing with that. So they are just available once every 3 months, and they don't have to commit their time in order to come every week to do any kind of repair. This is my general comment. There is another one, a comment from Greece. Great.
Thank you, Joanna. Share.
Great.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. I will continue with this discussion. Like, it is similar here in Slovenia. For example, we have strong NGOs that are working on this repair perspective, as we call it in our project. And actually, they use this kind of approach, that every now and then they make an event. And for example, before Christmas and holidays, we had a repair cafe for the Christmas lights only. Or, now in the spring, we have also, they prepared and organized a repair cafe for the umbrellas, which is a specific items that has to also be repaired and can be repaired. And they use, of course, the craftsmen that are able to repair these things. But we also have CPUs, so reuse centers in Slovenia. However, they work as a social enterprise, and they are not top-down, financed. So they also use funds from project, for example. And we have to be very resourceful. There's these things going on, and it's functional. Of course, Slovenia is a small country, for example, if we compare it to other countries, Italy. So we have few of these reuse centers, and but still, as Eleni said, it is important that it is close to people. So within this project, we had now for the first time in another city, the repair cafe. with the help of our NGO that is a stakeholder in our project. And it is nice to know that we can support also these initiatives and those actions and activities in another country city, where people don't know about the topic as much. So we focus only on bigger states and cities, and it's, there they already know where they can drive and bring the items and stuff like that. But it's important that we reach as much people as possible. And here I would also like to comment, because it was very insightful. Thank you very much for your presentation about the nudging. I think we can all agree, because this is also a part of our project, that a nudging part is very important. We have to start with ourselves. We have to change our perspective. We have to change our thinking. And we have a very interesting project regarding the climate change nudging. It is actually just a started project, so we are at the beginning of it, but we will try to convince with nudging techniques people to change their opinion, their thinking, their way of looking at this problem, at climate change, which of course is also the repairing stuff and waste, very important and very connected. So there we will be thinking about new approaches. We are calling them cultural interventions, because I think that for people it is also important, as I said, the Christmas lights, the umbrella, the way that we live and the way that we used to live in the past, and in specific cities, historical cultural interventions, I think that will really support the way of thinking of people, not just think about it, okay, yes, I will do something good, I will bring one item to reuse center and then I'm done. No, it has to be a way of living. So I think it's very important that we share those the learnings, peer-to-peer learnings, and to really see if it's functioning. Dora, thank you. Please join us.
Hello.
Hello.
Michele, very nice presentation. Thank you very much for the information. I would like to ask, who is the owner of these reused centers?
Yeah, well, in the specific case study I presented, the owner is the waste collection company of the municipality. So, and this is a quite typical situation. The region financed municipalities. Then municipalities decided to, so they are the owner, but then they decide who is the manager. In that case, the manager is the waste collection company. In other cases are associations, but the owner is typically the municipality.
Okay, thank you a lot.
Thank you. Eleni, we also have a question from you.
Not a question, just a comment.
Yes,
it's not that difficult to change your mind. The first step is to make easy to people to be able to repair, to reuse, and so make it easy first, and then it will be better and sooner. Also, economic issues are important. In Greece, people started to use second-hand items during economic crisis, not because climate change or environmental sensitivity. It was the money first. So if they find that repairing, using second-hand things, it's cheaper, they will follow it easily. And apart from that, there are a lot of things you don't want to throw them away. You love them, you like them, and you want to keep. So if there is this network of several craftsmen, yeah, it will be easy, cheap, guaranteed. Okay.
Thank you. Agree,
Thanks.
yes. Yes, this can also be a way. Of course, yes, it all starts with the money, it ends with the money, and we have to be very, very tactical about it. Yes, because sometimes for the majority of people, just to say this is bad for the planet and for our living is not enough. So we have to add something. So yeah, thank you very much. Anyone else wants to share their thoughts? Yes, let's see. Tanya from In Common. Yes, let me read the comment. An initiative from environmental organization In Common, repair cafes and reuse repair workshops with a neighborhood in the circularity lab called Kiklos, a space that studies the application of the circular economy at the neighborhood and city level. Yes, very common project. They collaborate with experts in repair cafes and invest in creating a sense of community that promotes engagements. Yes, yes, yes. Correct. We have to use this similar project that they can act locally, yeah, to gain the insights. Thank you very much. Okay, I will now continue. Well, not me, but our project partner, presenter, it's Elsa from Decoproteste, Portugal. And she will present the environmental and cost analysis to empower consumers in our decision making. Since we have some problems because she's a part of our group, but not for the teams, I will share her presentation. Elsa, are you with us?
Yes, hello. Good morning,
Yes.
all. First of all, thank you for this very nice presentations. I hope you also like mine. And Sasha, yes, please, you need to share. I cannot do it.
Yeah, yes.
So,
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Apologize for this.
Okay, do you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes, you
okay.
just say next when you're ready with the next one.
Okay,
Thanks.
sure. So as Sasha was saying, today I will talk about the circular economy. But because as you first to present Decoproteste, we are the Portuguese major consumer organization. So we are dealing with consumers all the time, and there's a lot of questions that arise from them, which is okay, should I repair or not? But should I repair all the time, or I just don't want to repair, I'm going to replace, but how should we do? And today I will just present some issues from one part and the other, more related with electric and electronic equipments. Next, please.
Yeah, not working.
It's not working?
Yes, it's working.
Okay, so in terms of consumers' habits and challenges that we can deal with, next, please. So in terms of consumers' habits, and I'm pretty sure everyone knows what is here, several of these devices everyone has at home, like mobile phones or laptops or TVs or whatever, and for household appliances, and then of course in terms of electric and electronic equipments, we have now also the new ones, let's say related with the light mobility, and then we have also, they are still considered electric and electronic equipments, like for energy production, PV panels, or for the wind, and also for example communications and medicine. So of course, electric and electronic equipments are everywhere with everyone, so it's not possible to don't have it. Next, please. And we know these electric and electronic equipments, and at the end of life, they are waste. And we have like a problem, let's say, we need really to make sure for this kind of devices is really important, the circular economy, because in fact this is the stream in constant growth in Europe. For example, is expecting in Europe to have by 2030, the waste generated is expecting to be 82 million tons of electronic devices on waste per year. At the same time, we know each household we contains on average 72. Of course, this is some surveys. And at the same time, almost everyone have at home several devices that are or broken or not in use, but they are in a drawer, like mobile phones, very old laptops, or a toaster. It's there. I don't care, but it's there. So one important phase is we need to really bring all these devices that are broken to the system, or the devices that are no longer in use, but they could be reused for another one. And then we have a problem in Europe, which is, we know, this is from the last global e-waste monitoring 2024, roughly around less than 1/4 of the e-waste produced in Europe is really documented as being properly collected and recycled. So which means that if they are not going for repair or reuse, if they are going to even to recycle, but then only a very small part is really properly collected and recycled. What this means, we know also there are some data related with the exportation. Around 70% of the waste is exported and it's still working. And the problem is, as everybody knows, these kind of materials, they have very rare materials, important materials, very valuable. So all the equipments, they are not reused, and then at the end of the life cycle, they are not properly collected and recycled. We cannot recover the materials. So there is a loss in raw materials and resources. It is expected, this is the numbers, in roughly between 800 million and 1.7 billion euros that we are losing in our market, because we can use these materials to produce new devices, but if you don't have them, we need to import these raw materials, primary raw materials. They need to be extracted with the environmental problems, and we don't have most of them in Europe. They are coming from China or from Congo or from South America, for example. Next, please. So this is the challenge we have. To make all this system more circular, and this is a challenge, as I told you, we are dealing with consumers. And even if we can communicate and raise awareness, then we have the behavior of consumers, which is sometimes really problematic in some of cases. So it's really important we need to slow and to narrow and to close the loop. I mean, we need all of us to refuse, to don't buy what we don't need. This fast consumption, it's increasing, and we need really to stop. We need also to reduce what we have. So we need to keep all the equipments much more time. We need to repair, to reduce the new one, the buy of new ones. This is quite important. At the same time, the rethink is more related with eco design, and also sometimes I don't need something I don't need to buy, I can share. So it's something different. Then, of course, at the end of life, they need really to go for recycling, to recover these materials. And then you have also the reuse, which is really important. If I have an equipment, it's not working, but I don't want them, or it's broken, but it's still it's possible to repair. So it's really important to increase durability of equipments and increase repairability. So it's really important the design to repair and to maintain, to upgrade, for example, related with software updates on mobile phones, also to refurbish and remanufacture. So sometimes it's something which is not easy to repair. Even if I want to do it, it's not possible, or it's too expensive. So this is, of course, the 5 R's, let's say, that we really need to have a strategy for all of them, for producers and also for consumers. So, and now we will, of course, focus more on this reuse because we are talking about the repair. Next, please. There are a lot of changes in this reuse repair. For example, everyone already knows or have listened somewhere this word obsolescence or the premature obsolescence. In fact, there are, of course, equipments that they are completely obsolescent. I mean, they are very old. It's not possible to, or does make sense to repair because it's not really, or they are completely broken, or they really it's not possible to update. But then there is another thing, and this is coming from a study from University of Delft and the PROMPT project, European project. We have what we call this relative obsolescence. What is this? This is the kind of equipment they are still working, but consumers, they don't want them. So this is in terms which is really important. For example, we call this like psychological obsolescence. We had some surveys at European level, and the reasons to don't repair or to buy a new one is my device is not working properly. It looks some shabby. I will prefer a new one. Well, it's quite out of date. And I think it's not repair anyway. So, of course, consumers have a huge influence by marketing. But of course, it's also up to consumers to really to change this paradigm, because otherwise it's not possible. We cannot buy a mobile phone every year or every 2 years because the new one is coming. So, and then of course we have the technological or economic obsolescence, because sometimes we need to really make sure that repair it's economically makes sense from the economic point of view, and it's feasible. For example, in terms of the problems reported, it's mainly about the battery, the update of the software, the display, the motor, the power supply, some software issues. So there are a lot of things that are not difficult to repair. They need to be economic, make sense, but of course we need to increase this repair and repair centers that we already listened today. Is really important, but at the same time it's really important also to bring consumers to change the behavior, otherwise nothing will change. Next, please. So we are talking here, of course, about these challenges that we are facing, and we are facing this every day with consumers. We are raising awareness all the time, but of course it's difficult. But of course the question every time is, should I repair every time? It makes sense to repair everything? Depends, because it's really important to also consider the environmental impact across the overall life cycle of an equipment. Next, please. Just to explain to you, at European level, as a consumer organization with our colleagues from other countries, we are performing, or we already performed, a lot of environmental life cycle analysis of the electric and electronic equipments, because it's really important to understand environmental impacts and in which part they are more relevant. If they are, is really important, of course, for goods, because there are some differences when we face this environmental impact on the production or in the use phase, for example, which are really the main concerns. For doing that, we perform the life cycle analysis methodology, the streamline, which is very well known at Europe, taking into account all the impacts from the production, extracting of raw materials, production, energy, to all of this, then to transport the various or the several transport that we could have, then in the use phase, when they are in use in the home of the consumers, and here it's mainly related with chemicals, water consumption, energy consumption, for example, some consumables like printers, for example, and then end of life. are going to reuse, to repair, to recycling, but in fact we know we assume a lot of different scenarios. The transport and end of life, they are not relevant for environmental impact. So we should really focus on the production and use phase. Usually the production phase is really dominant for the appliances with very noble and rare materials. They don't have a lot of energy consumption, and of course they have low reparability. So we have to keep producing new ones. In the use phase, it's really more related with devices with that can be repaired, but sometimes they have a very energy consumption. So I will present you 4 examples, but we as I told you, we have, if anyone is interested, we have results for almost all kinds of the most well-known equipment that we have at home. Next, please. Here, I can show you, I think, well, it's quite small, but I think it's possible to see. I'm listening some sound. Okay, now it's for mobile phones. In this case, I have some data from several countries, and the first thing that everyone looks, okay, why is different between countries? Yes, the environmental impacts of the same equipment in different countries is different because the energy mix is different between countries. The end of waste, let's say the recycling rates are different. So it's mainly because of that. And here, of course, we have the environmental impact in comparison. So we have the distribution of environmental impact from the phases. In the case of mobile phones, we can see they are different, but mainly the most environmental impact is really related with manufacturing. And this is due to the components, materials that we need to produce a mobile phone. Mainly because, for example, we have in terms of components, the most relevant are the printed wiring boards, the display, the materials that they are part of the display, some copper, and also the lithium in batteries. So this is one of the cases that, okay, the manufacturer is really relevant, so it's really important to make these mobile phones more durable and repairable, because we don't want to have new ones all the time, because a new one, it's a new production. Okay, next one, please. Here we have a similar example. It's a vacuum cleaner, a cordless vacuum cleaner, the new ones, or now the most usual ones, and the same. They are different. They are different in different phases, different countries, but really it's mainly due to the manufacturing. Just to explain, because you could answer why, for example, in the use phase, for example, France is the country with lower environmental impact. As I told you, the most relevant impact is coming from energy mix. And here we're talking about CO2 emissions. And in France, the energy mix, they have a huge quantity of nuclear. Because nuclear, in terms of CO2 emissions, it's a clean energy because they don't have the production of CO2. So that's why this is the main difference in France and of course in Belgium and on the countries with more nuclear. And next, please. Here I can present you the opposite. This is also vacuum cleaner, but a corded vacuum cleaner. What is the difference? Because in the first one, we have like a battery. And this is the corded, it's the most well-known, the old ones that we have the plug to use. And here the most relevant part is not about the materials for manufacturing, but is really the energy that we need to consume every time that we are making our cleaning at home. So in this case, is really the use phase the most relevant. And the last one, A fridge. Everyone have it at home. And in fact, the fridge is also, the use phase is really the more relevant. For example, we can see, like for here, Portugal and Spain, for example, or Netherlands, well, several, Italy, really more than 80% of the total environmental impacts are really coming from the use phase. And in this case, they are really coming from the energy consumption. And bear in mind, this fridge is working 24 hours, 36 5 days a year. So it's really at home, usually the equipment with more energy consumption that everyone has at home, but we need to have it anyway. So how should we deal with these differences? Next, please. The question is, should I repair or replace? Is different if the environmental impact is different in each phase? Let's see. Next, please. So for the mobile phone or the vacuum cleaner, where the production is really the most relevant part, as I told you, every time we need to produce a new one, a new equipment, we have more environmental impacts in the production. So because of materials, because of the emissions related with all this. So of course, we include the raw material gathering, the processing, manufacturing. So in this case, really the equipments should be most durable as possible. We need to avoid the extraction of new materials, the production of new devices. So really they are the equipments, they should be repaired straight away. And in fact, we know mobile phones, people sometimes they use it, sometimes not. And here I only have these two examples, but for example, laptop or a TV is the same. It's production phase because of materials. Usually, if you have a crystal like in the display, it's always a problem. So this is really the equipments, they should be repaired as much as possible. Next, please. What about the other ones? So in the use phase, as I told you, it's more related with energy consumption. For example, in washing machines, we have also the water consumption, for example, or in the printers, we have the consumables. So this is more the use phase. So in this case, the problem, as I told, is more really this part, and of course, then the detergents or so on. So should we repair or not? Because it's not about materials, we don't know exactly. So the answer, and because I'm from sustainability, all my colleagues, they ask, how should I do? And I said all the time, depends. This is my sentence, depends. So let's see, how should we do it? Next, please. For example, we should look, and of course, the consumer at home, we don't have access as we have as a consumer organization to the testing that we are doing, but we have all in our equipments some information about the energy consumption. For example, this is the energy labeling of fridge. And here, of course, you have several informations, but most important is to understand or to see this number 3, which is the consumption, the kilowatt hour per annum, which is the energy consumption of this equipment. This one is a class B. This is what we should focus. So how can we then decide if we should repair my old fridge or should I buy a new one? So next, please. I should first check the energy consumption in my old product, or the product is broken, I need to repair. There are sometimes some information on the back of the fridge, for example, about the energy consumption. And then I should look for the energy consumption of the models that are now on the market. So I would say usually if you have a fridge very old, like 20 years, what is happening is in the last 20 years, it was a huge increase on this energy efficiency of equipments, which means that in this case, really it should be replaced because the environmental impact related with the use phase, it's because energy consumption is much higher if you have a fridge with 20 or 30 years than a new one. Of course, we need materials. I know we should repair and reuse as maximum, but in this case, in fact, it's really for environmental reasons, it's also better to replace. But of course, if I have an old one, I want to replace, so this old one should go for recycling, because then materials should be used for new ones. Of course, if, for example, if you have like a washing machine with 5 years, but it's quite broken or something not so difficult to repair, should repair, because of course the difference in the energy is not so different in the last years. So it's more about, of course, energy consumption, but for a consumer perspective, you can have like these boundaries about more the date of the equipment. Next, please. So this is some information. Of course, we have a problem. It's really hard to raise awareness and to explain a lot of technical things to consumers. What we want to really to do is to help also consumers. And of course, as you know, we are part of the Repair project, and in the case of the Portugal, and I know Italy and Spain, what we are doing now is next please, just to show, is we decided to create a website where we have information about the different kinds of equipments that we have at home, and in each one we have several problems. Then we can see, okay, this is not a huge problem, we have this solution. Or of course, and sometimes, okay, with this problem the solution is really hard to repair, should replace, and then we want, of course, to then, okay, if it's not possible to repair, so we have also information how should we do at the end. So how should I, and in the case of Portugal, we will have information about the collection centers that we have in the country, there we can put of course the equipments. And at the same time, for example, if you have an equipment, it's broken, it's easy to repair, but you don't want to repair, or you want to buy a new one, so we also provide information about how to do it. You should donate, or you should go for a second-hand shops, for example. So this is like a website to have the most of information about this topic in the same place. So this is the aim, and this is what we are doing at the Repair project to really help in these decisions of consumers. And I think this is the last one. Next, please. Yes. So of course, if you want then any question, you can send me email, or of course I'm now free to answer. You can take it. This was the last one.
Great. Thank you. I think I stopped sharing the screen, right?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you very much. Yes, as you said, if I may comment, you have a lot of information that consumers don't, and for them it's very tricky and very, I don't know, we don't want to talk about it or listen too much of it. We just need the opportunities. But still, as you said, even though if it's we have all the informations for the youngs, especially, which is a part of the culture they are a part of, I think it's very difficult, if they want to follow that, because for the phones, as you said, for example, they have a lot of valuable items in it, sources, but still after 1 year, you have to buy a new one, which is bigger, which is better, with new camera, etc., etc. So it's not just about the everything you said, but still about the culture, I think it's important. And also, as you said, if you go back to the fridge comparison, when to buy a new one, you also, I think, have to think about the calculation about to put in the durability of new products, because we all know that products in the previous decade, they last for a decade, but now they are not durable as much. So it's not just 1 minus 1, but it's also to understand that, I think. So it's very complex, as you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course it's quite important that now at European level there are a lot of departments and directives talking about this durability and eco design, because it's really important to design to repair, because otherwise it's not possible. And of course, as you told, even in terms of mobile phones, especially for young people, is really hard because they want a new one. My friend have a new one, I want a new one. So, but at least what you can say, yes, but you can donate. There are several, or buy, sell on a second hand. At the same time, it's quite trendy now to buy and sell on second hand, because of course there's always some young people, they don't have the money to buy a new one. So this is also important. I think the second-hand market on mobile phones is increasing at the same time, because they want like a iPhone, but of course they cannot afford the new one. So let's go for some 2 or 3 models ahead. But yes, this is really important. And most important, we feel is like you don't have the information centralized. So that was the aim, because it's really too hard for consumers to know what to do and where to go. Sometimes, where should I go to repair? I'm not sure if I trust. Probably they are trying to make a deal of me. So, and as a consumer organization, we have this, like say, confidence from. So, and of course, when we are saying you should go for this place or another one, we need, of course, to make sure they are doing a good job. Otherwise, it is our name that is in charge. But yeah.
Yes, very important. Very important. Yes. Thank you. Okay, Ricardo made a statement. I found very important to underline the induced obsolescence, of course, or relative obsolescence. That is something necessary for an economic system based on consumption and accumulation of profit, of course. It is not a single consumer problem, it is more a systematic problem. Yes, I think.
Yeah. But here I should say, when we are talking about the premature obsolescence, induced obsolescence is crime. This is crime.
Yeah.
And as a consumer organization, we already had this problem, and so this is something different. And something different is because something is broken before the time it was expected, but it is not because the brand made something to break it. So this is something different. But in this case, yes, we should report, because it's crime. You should not, and I know we have some problems with Apple some times ago, because they don't want to update with the new software, the new ones. So, but this is crime, and of course in Europe this is taken into account.
Yes. Yes, good for us. Yes, thank you. Okay. Any other comments, questions? No. Okay. Thank you very much, Elsa. Okay. And the last speaker from our partnership from the repair project is Amaya from Oku, Spain. Yes, I want to share the screen as well now. Let me just prepare your presentation.
Thank you, Sasha.
Yes, it will be soon now. Here we are. Yes.
Here we are. Okay, thank you very much. And thank you, Elsa, also for the previous presentation. That was a very interesting, very technical one, probably some issues that consumers usually don't know. My presentation is going to focus on the side of the consumer behavior, so it's complementary. I would like to present myself. My name is Amaya, and I am working at the Organización de Consumidores y Usuarios in Spain. We are also a partner of the Repair project. Can you please move to the next slide, please?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So as I'm the last speaker, probably we all know already why it's important to repair. The topic of precious resources, for me, the critical raw materials is one of the most important issues we are going to face in the future. Not many consumers are aware of that. Fortunately, the EU Commission it is. It's taking some steps to face this challenge. But the question now is that we are producing more e-waste than never before, and this is continually increasing. And probably many of you have been faced to the decision to repair something or to renovate in the past. And it's not an easy decision for consumers, as we are going to see. So for us, when we speak about repair and with a focus on the consumer behavior, we think that this is a decision, but also a tool for empowering and to get over control about how our consumption shapes the market and the world we are living in. Can you please go to the next one? Something
Yes,
interesting.
Yep.
Yes. Something interesting is that our grandparents probably will fix first, but we do the opposite. By default, the choice is this is broken, then I go and buy another one. However, in the past, the more natural decision was to repair always. And in our surveys, still we see that the people who is over 60s still prefer to repair. So this is a cultural issue. And if it is cultural, the good news is that we can change the culture. It's not easy, of course, but it's not impossible at all. Okay, so we know that today only 30% of people don't attempt to repair. However, of the 70 that maybe have this idea in mind, finally only a few percentage go and repair the product. To change this culture of repair, probably we have to address these issues of the advertising industry that pushes constantly to purchase more. Also the fast technological changes. For example, now we have new about Windows 10 that has ended the support for the user. So you are forced to change your computer with all the raw materials it have, only because otherwise you are not going to be able to make the software updates, etc. And also, of course, the cost. Cost is always the top reason for not fixing the devices. And this is clear for us that cost has to be reduced, at least in comparison with the new one. Nobody wants the new product to be more expensive. This is something we all can agree. But if products are very cheap, but they don't last enough time, in fact, this is a fake cheap product. Can you please go for the next one, please? Yes, great. We have conducted some surveys, and we have seen that most people don't reject repair. They just don't know how or where to do it, or if they have the final decision, they discover it's too expensive. So we think that people really are willing to repair if we give them the tools, the knowledge, and the economic incentives. In fact, according to our surveys, also the environmental protection is very important to do that, but only for 1 in 5. For the others is money. Money is the driver to repair more than any other thing. And also we saw that 3 out of 4 people had attempted to fix an electronic or electrical product by themselves at least once, what is a very good news, because in our repair hub we are doing during the repair project, we are trying to give this kind of tools to consumers that not always you have to spend money. Some things can be easily be fixed by oneself. So we are trying to promote the culture that repairing is not always expensive. Can you go to the next one, please? Yeah, this is a very interesting survey we made during another project that is Third Thread project, and we asked consumers about which were the main reasons for not repairing. And of course, if you can see the chart, the cost goes first. Okay, the second one was because the appliance was too old, so the broken moment was just the decision booster, but otherwise it would have been a question of months or weeks. So they decided then to go and replace. Many people, a lot, decided to buy a new one because they prefer the new one. This is something more related to the culture. Others because it was broken, but still functional, so not a problem for them, so they decided to go ahead. There was a problem for some of them, approximately 10%, about lack of spare parts. And you know that this is regulated by law, that we need spare parts for 10 years, at least in Spain is 10 years. But maybe we need it for more time, because if we are speaking about long-lasting products, maybe 10 years is not enough. Some of them refer to the problem of where to bring their broken products to be repaired. And I think that there is a lot of space for a new market of repairers. I really expect this to change a lot, because nowadays we are very dependent of the big chains to repair, or on the other hand, of the small, very small repairers that especially for clothes or for other kind of products. But maybe I think that we lack a big provider of trustful provider of repairers. The other one was software obsolescence, and others just say that they didn't need it anymore. So it's not that people don't want to repair, it's that we have made it too difficult. So there is a need of a systemic solution. Can you go for the next one, please? Sasa, can you please move the slide?
Yes, sorry.
Thank you.
Something happened. Just a second,
Okay.
please. The connection is out. Let me just... Here we are. Yes, this one, right?
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. Yes. So as we have already talked today, Europe is about to make repair not just a choice, but a right. So in Spain, this is going to be presented in a new upcoming sustainable consumption law that is going to transpose the right to repair directive, but also the empowering consumers for the green transition directive and the future green claims directive when published. That is not yet. We have in Spain a legal warranty of 3 years, and we think as consumer organization that this is one of the best tools to improve repair before renewal, but still 3 years is not a lot of time for most of the products. We have spare parts for 10 years that also good to have, but maybe not enough. Maybe other possibilities could happen, like make the designs freely available after these 10 years. If the producer is not going to make it, maybe others can do it with 3D printers or other tools. And also with the new right to repair directive, we will have 1 year added on top of the warranty if the product is repaired during warranty. So this is to incentivize consumers to opt for the new one for their repair instead of the new one product. Also, we have transparency tools. Okay. For example, the digital product passport. We have been working on this on a very interesting project also about the digital product passport technological architecture, a project called Thick Thread. And we have seen that this new tool to come is going to provide a lot of information for consumers. And one of them could be the reparability index. So in the moment of purchasing, we could see if it is easy to repair or not. Also, the eco-design regulation is going to help a lot on this. And we think that we need this information to be performed on the products, but also to be communicated to consumers. So it can be one decision information point for us. But also, of course, regulation is not enough. So we also need to mix it with other systemic changes like incentives, education, and infrastructure. Can you please, Sasha, go to the next slide? Thank you. Yes, a voucher like this presented by Danilo before can make a difference between repairing or replacing a product. In this image, we have the 108 euros, that is the average price to repair a washing machine. And now in the market, we can find washing machines from 200 euros. So the decision is not so easy. Maybe this new one will not last a lot, but it's a new one. So it provides you more trust on the durability. So we need to work on the price. This is something essential now. We have already listened to Danilo about the systems we have with the bonuses in France, Austria, and Germany. In Spain, it has been announced similar mechanisms under the extended producer responsibility. So this is something that is going to happen also when the law will be transposed. And also can be considered an incentive, a financial incentive, the 1 year plus of warranty, of course. So this is on the picture also. Other effective economic support that we can work on are home pickup and delivery for repair, because sometimes it's not comfortable to do it by oneself. Also, remote diagnostics to avoid unnecessary visits that cost money, and discounts for spare parts or accessories. Can you please go to the next one? Yes, the information, the consumer awareness is really important to empower consumers. Now, probably the ones we are in this webinar, we are very much aware of our rights more than the average consumers. But there is a gap, a real gap with information. Okay. We expect that the digital product passport will provide a bridge in this gap because it will bring consumers with information not only about reparability index, but also about the durability of the product, the parts availability and prices of them. Also repair guides to do it yourself. That is very interesting for some small repairs. And also will be a tool when you buy something that is second-hand, you will have all the history of this product in the digital product passport. So it builds trust. And you know if it has been repaired, when, and what. And this is going to be a game changer, probably. And also, of course, we have this consumer awareness that will be mandate by the right to repair law that will increase transparency about reparation in the point of sales. Can you please move to the next one? Yeah. So to wrap up, Inoku, we think that the future of repair is systemic. We need many tools. It's a whole system. We need the tool of regulation, of course, the incentives, education, and skills. I refer not only to education for consumers, but also to include repair and circular economy in the schools and universities, and of course, on the vocational education and training programs. Also, it's a question of information with the digital tools, like the digital product passport. And it's also a question of territorial collaboration and to build community-based initiatives. And we are thinking especially, for example, Spain is a big country and we have big cities like Madrid or Barcelona, but we also have a lot of small villages that don't have these infrastructures. So there probably repair cafes or community based initiatives can play a role to provide this kind of services. And Sasa, can you please move to the next one? Thank you. Just to finish, I would like to stress that for us, repair is not just about products. It's about reclaiming control on our consumption to protect the planet and to build a future where we still will have products with we need to take care of the products we have now because the resources are not infinite. So we need to take care of this and change the repair culture. Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Amaya.
Do you have any questions?
Yes. As you said, it was a nice complementary presentation. We have to think not just locally and not so geographically wise, but also how to really look at this problem of waste from all perspectives possible. And consumers, of course, is one part. So yeah, I think that after 1 year now and a half, we all understand very much how important the topic is. Does anybody else have a comment or question for Amaya? Nope. Okay, then we can wrap it up. Thank you again to not just Amaya, but all other presenters. Yes, I'm very happy that we have the opportunity to have discussions like that, to present our learnings, our insights. How do we see it? Where the problems are? And I think that it's at the end, it's not just a question of when it is worth fixing in terms of economic part, so money-wise, but whether the individual really feels that is worth fixing as a value, I would say. So we have to start with ourselves. We are active citizens, I would say, as long as we are participating in such projects, so we can make a change. And yes, I'm looking forward to the changes that will happen after some times, and based on the activities we will make in our projects and other projects that are similar to ours. Thank you all for joining us. Stay tuned. Follow our webpage and our social media contacts and profiles. We will share 2 more webinars. We will discuss this topic of repair from some other perspectives. So yes, stay tuned. Thank you very much. And with any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you very much. Thank you, Danuta.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.